What if the real test of strength isn't how much you can lift, but how much can you hold back when anger, temptation, or pride push you to react? Self-control is one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked virtues in life. It's the ability to manage our emotions, thoughts, and actions, especially when everything inside us wants to do the opposite. In a world that constantly tells us to follow our heart or do whatever feels right, self-control reminds us that not every impulse deserves a response. It's about choosing discipline over desire, patience over pride, and wisdom over reaction. Before we go any further, my Wisdom family, if this message is already speaking to your heart, I'd like to invite you to hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to the channel for more wisdom thoughts that can help strengthen your walk in faith. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our upcoming reflections filled with timeless lessons from the book of Proverbs. Thank you. Stay with me until the end of this video, because we're going to uncover how self-control can transform not just your reactions, but your relationships, your peace, and your entire life. When we practice self-control, we learn to pause before we speak, think before we act, and pray before we decide. The book of Proverbs tells us that a person who can rule their own spirit is stronger than one who conquers a city. That means real power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling ourselves. It's in those quiet moments of restraint that true character is revealed. Self-control is not about denying ourselves joy. It's about directing our life toward what truly matters. It protects relationships, builds peace within, and strengthens our faith. When we let God guide our actions instead of our emotions, we live with greater purpose and peace. Remember, mastering self-control is not a one-time victory. It's a daily choice to let wisdom lead the way. Now, let's discuss deeper into what timeless wisdom teaches us about self-control, because God's wisdom doesn't just tell us what to do, it shows us why it matters. Let's begin with a powerful reminder from Proverbs 16:32. True strength comes from self-control. Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. A verse that reveals where true strength really comes from. When we think of strength, we often imagine soldiers, athletes, or people who can dominate any challenge in front of them. But the Bible redefines what real strength looks like. According to this message, patience and self-control are greater than physical might. Why? Because it's easier to conquer cities than to conquer ourselves. The person who can stay calm under pressure, who can control their emotions instead of being controlled by them, that person shows true power. Imagine someone stuck in heavy traffic after a long, stressful day. Horns are blaring, tempers are rising, and it feels like every driver is out to test your patience. Now, you have two choices. Explode in anger or take a deep breath and choose peace. The one who practices self-control doesn't allow the situation to dictate their mood. They've learned that their inner peace is more valuable than proving a point on the road. That moment of calm is a quiet victory, not against others, but against themselves. In life, there will always be things we can't control, people, problems, and pain. But what we can control is how we respond. God's wisdom reminds us that true strength is not in how loud or forceful we are, but in how steady and grounded we remain. Every time you choose patience over pride, peace over anger, and discipline over impulse, you're living out the kind of strength that honors God. Proverbs 29:11. Wisdom is seen in restraint. Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end. This verse gives us a powerful reminder that not every emotion deserves to be expressed. Sometimes silence speaks louder than shouting. The world tells us to say what's on your mind or don't hold back, but Proverbs warns that this kind of impulsive reaction can lead to regret. The wise person doesn't suppress emotion, they manage it. They understand that holding back in the heat of the moment isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Picture a moment at home when a family argument begins over something small, maybe a misplaced item or a misunderstood word. Voices rise, tempers flare, and you feel the urge to defend yourself. But instead of reacting, you pause, breathe, and choose not to add fuel to the fire. A few minutes later, the tension settles, and peace slowly returns. That's self-control in action, choosing calm over chaos, peace over pride. Our words have power. They can heal or they can wound. When we let anger take the lead, we often say things we can't take back. But when we let wisdom and patience guide our speech, we bring calm not only to others, but to our own hearts. Remember, anyone can speak in anger, but only the wise know when to be still. Self-control gives your words weight and your presence peace. Proverbs 25:28. Guarding your heart builds strength. Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. In ancient times, a city's walls were its first line of defense. Without them, the city was exposed to attacks and easily conquered. Proverbs compares that image to a person without self-control, vulnerable, unprotected, and easily shaken by temptation, anger, or fear. When we don't guard our hearts, we open the door for the enemy to steal our peace and destroy our joy. But when we build the walls of self-discipline, prayer, and patience, we protect what truly matters inside. Think of someone trying to break a bad habit, maybe overspending, gossiping, or reacting harshly when criticized. At first, it feels almost impossible to change because emotions are strong and habits are deep. But with God's help, every small victory, every time you say no when it's easier to give in, strengthens your walls. Over time, you become spiritually unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because your heart gets stronger. Self-control doesn't mean living a life without passion or emotion. It means letting God's Spirit lead those emotions in the right direction. When you learn to control yourself, you invite peace, wisdom, and blessing into your life. Remember, a disciplined spirit is a protected spirit. Let God help you build strong walls around your heart so that your life stands firm no matter what comes your way. Wisdom family, as we've seen through these proverbs, self-control is not just about holding back, it's about rising higher. It's the quiet strength that allows us to stay calm when others lose patience, to speak peace when anger calls our name, and to guard our hearts when temptation knocks at the door. The world may never applaud restraint, but heaven always notices a heart that chooses wisdom over impulse. Each time you decide to pause instead of react, to listen instead of argue, or to pray instead of complain, you're exercising a strength far greater than muscle. You're showing maturity of the spirit. And that's what God desires, not perfection, but progress. Every act of self-control is a small victory that shapes your character and brings you closer to the heart of God. So today, I encourage you, keep growing in wisdom, keep building your inner walls, and let self-control guide your words, actions, and thoughts. You'll find more peace, more clarity, and more blessings than you ever imagined. Before you go, please don't forget to hit like, share this message with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to our channel for more wisdom thoughts every week. Also, make sure to ring the notification bell so you'll never miss the next video that can help strengthen your faith and enrich your walk with God. Stay strong, stay wise, and stay with me, because the journey to wisdom is one we'll keep walking together. Now, I have one question for you. Have you ever reacted in the heat of the moment and later wished you hadn't? How did you handle it, and what did you learn? Your experience matters. Tell us in the comments.